Quickly, so the first pass should be enjoyable to drive and smooth, quite low grip, similar to what we've seen in Shakedown because it's the same area.
Just got a fairly fresh surface that looks very loose on top, so we expect to see a lot of cleaning. But yeah, it's quite technical as well. A lot of crests, a lot of big jumps at the start, so plenty to get at.
It's a quite fast stage, to be fair, but quite flowing. We go back also in some places where we were on a shakedown, so it's some downhill uphill section. It's gonna be quite nice, but yes, let's hope to do a good rally until there.
Well, they certainly did have a good rally until there, and we'll get on to foremost unfortunate incident last night later. This is our start off for the final day of the season. Tanak first up after the Friday night. He actually retired at the end of the day last night to give them more flexibility in service. Great to have Nasser Al-Attiyah back, followed by his other M Sport teammates. There's the championship front runners. What a day it is for Ogier and Evans, Seb Ogier, and still Rovanpera in the mix, of course. And we go all the way down to Adrian Formeau, actually still the last of the Rally 1 runners, despite that late time penalty, which we will go into in a bit more detail shortly. So first up will be his teammate Tanak. Last time we're going to see him. We hope it's not for good today. Mike Chen alongside me, and it's just so unfortunate what happened yesterday, because he was right in the mix, and it would have been a wonderful way to sign off this latest outing with Hyundai, wouldn't it? Fighting for the win until that we really got the worst of the bad luck in terms of tyre issues yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, as you said, really unfortunate for Tanak. It's the way this rally's gone, isn't it? I think he's shown brilliant pace in the car, particularly yesterday, bunch of stage wins, but it's a good example of when you're taking risks and pushing for the victory. This place will bite you, and that's unfortunately what happened to Tanak. But he was right there. He dragged himself right into the mix for a rally win, and as soon as he was right there knocking on the door, it all got taken away from him.
Great to see those stats, isn't it? One more time announcing after Japan that he will be taking a break from full-time rallying. As I say, we all very much hope it is just a break, but you can understand wanting to spend more time with his young family after, what is it, more than 15 years on the roads. Just the only driver, remember, to get a rally victory for Hyundai this year. Still got a chance today, yeah, absolutely, haven't they? Yeah, it was very unfortunate yesterday, but great to see him back up there. Great to see him back out there today, I have to say. What he could do could be a fly in the ointment for those championship chasers. Nasser Al-Attiyah, Candido Carrera, 20-time Middle East champion, 5-time Dakar champion, and at times, Jenny, he's really shown why experience is so key on these very, very unique roads out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Where Nasser has really come to the fore is in the super sandy stuff, where he's got the experience, and it sounds silly saying it, but the rest of the Rally 1 field have been doing, the WRC field have been doing them in sat in the seat of the car all this year. They don't have the experience on sand. You can brake later, you can push more into the corner, and that's something you've just got to learn quite quickly. Nasser knows all that stuff already, it's second nature to him. So on the really soft sandy stuff, Nasser's been right there. We've seen some really quick split times from him. Once you get out to the slightly harder, more technical stuff, and where you've really got to hustle the car and know exactly what it's going to do, of course he's dropped back a little bit, but he's had a hell of an adventure this weekend, hasn't he, BK?
Yeah, I mean, this mounted camera on the rear wing, we're fortunate to still have it. He lost that entire tailgate on Thursday afternoon. I tell you what, though, without that, and then obviously a delayed changing of wheel, I'd love to have seen where Nasser could have ended up without all those minutes dropped on the opening day. Anyway, a lot of people with what could have been attitude right now. I think everybody's got a bit of a story to tell. Now, crucially here, looking at the surface here, I was up there at the Shakedown stage on, what was it now, Wednesday. Got a good view through the valley, and from what I could see from where we were at the remote service, it does look quite smooth and flowing. Certainly a vast improvement from that brutal finish to yesterday. Well, what's your opinion on how this one feels so far?
A lot of cleaning.
Yeah.
You know, there's an awful lot of cleaning going on, but you're right. It is one of those stages that you can get into a bit of a rhythm and have a nice little flow on. I think we're going to be seeing this run later on as the Wolf Power stage, and there is the potential, certainly down towards the end of the stage, that we might see rocks getting pulled out. If you're running a little bit further down the road order, then potentially you could be at risk of some tyre damage. We'll start to see it getting a bit more rutted. For now, though, I think you're right. There is a fine layer of sort of sand and dust on the top, and then a reasonably hard base underneath in places, but it certainly will evolve for the second run through. For now, Tanak's definitely being punished. There's an awful lot of cleaning going on there.
Yeah. Well, let's see how it evolves then. As you said, Chenny, 2 runs through here, but sandwiched in between is the longest stage of the rally, the Asfan test coming up shortly after this, over 33 kilometres. And if you think about the scrap for, the desperate scrap for extra points in here, with just 1 point ahead for Seb Ogier in the as it stands table, it's so key. It's almost like 3 Wolf Power stages in one. If you had a good run in that 33-kilometre test, Chenny, I mean, that's got to put you in a really good position in terms of the Super Sunday bonus points. And that's what Ogier and Evans, oh boy, what a fight we've got on our hands. It's just great, isn't it, that we're coming right down to the final day, potentially the final stage of the season. You can't ask for more than that. Josh McErlean and Tracy, what a year they've had. First year in Rally 1. It's been a lot of learning for the Irish crew.
Sharp corner, 32, 34, left 3 left, right and continue, for 100, okay, must keep, enter, 3, right, okay, and stay left over, 36, 33, right.
See how the stage changes, PK. It starts out with these rocks that are lining the side. It's literally been a road just been cut through all of those rocks, and no room for error. You can't hang the back of the car out, because you collect one of those and straight away you're doing a whole load of damage. So you're threading the needle, but then it opens up again. That's why we've been saying all weekend, so many of these stages, you know, it's an almost, you know how we go to Monte Carlo and it'll start dry, then it'll get wet and then it'll get icy. Again here, you'll start and you'll be threading the needle through the rocks, and then you'll go out and it'll be really smooth and fast and flat out. So you can see now you've left that rock field behind. Now things have opened up, it's wider and it's faster. So all the stages, within the stages, have a number of different personalities.
Yeah, there's been a lot of chat on social media amongst the fans and clearly amongst the drivers of whether or not they like having a rally like this at the end of the season. But I tell you what, you really can't argue with the drama that's unfolded and the unique challenge, as you say. And when we go to the snow of Sweden, as you mentioned, Monte Carlo, the mountains there, the Kenyan savannas, and again, you know, this is something completely different out here. And yeah, the real variety of these sort of more mountainous and then through these volcanic fields and the proper desert stages, it really has provided the proverbial sting in the tail, which, yes, absolutely, it's not an enjoyable and very stressful situation for the 3 guys in the championship hunt, as it is for these guys trying to get the victory, but it has provided drama plenty to see this season wrapped up. Looking good in here. Tanak, despite being first on the road, is a lot quicker, probably as you'd expect, than Nasser Al-Attiyah, Josh McErlean, Greg Munster next to come into the stage. Do you think we'll see him back, Chenny?
Greg Munster and Louis Luca.
Ogier Tanak.
Ogier Tanak? Yeah, I certainly hope so in the future. I don't think Oigier's made any decisions yet. I don't think he's done. I just think he needs everything to fall into place for him to make the commitment. Sometimes, and we've seen Ogier take a break before.
Yeah.
It's happened in the past, and sometimes it's a good thing to just step away, regroup, reset. And you know, I was chatting to him in Japan, and one of the things he said to me was, you don't get time with your family again. Your kids get older, everything else. So I'm just going to take some time. I want to just reassess stuff, but I don't think Oigier's done. He did say to me, yeah, for now.
Feels like,
and he said it was a break.
Feels like he's got unfinished.
Oh, he's run very wide. Very, very wide there.
And that's lucky that, as you say, he wasn't on one of those volcanic fields, because if, yeah, that was lucky.
Yeah, that would have been parked for the day if that had been straight into one of those rocks. So it got away with it. But yeah, for now, Ogier having a break. We're not going to see him next year, but maybe he can come and do some commentary.
Maybe we could get him to do some end of stage reporting. How about that? see how he likes it. Yeah, that would be entertaining. I don't see it happening somehow, but anyway, he's getting close to
Nobody mess with him, that's for sure.
Yeah, anyway, he's getting very close to the finish now. 16.3 kilometres just under here. And this is the section we saw in Shakedown, really nice and open through the valley. There's a wonderful amphitheatre on the ridge above, which is where the Wolf Power Stage Podium will be staged.
It's quite soft here, PK.
Still Stoke fan, sorry to tell you.
No room for error at all.
Yeah.
And again, we've seen parts of this stage being used as Shakedown. You can see where it's already a little bit rutted and a bit worn. It's been used, but I have to say, and I think this is a good thing, not a huge amount. It didn't look to me like there was a huge amount of rocks out there to be pulled out. This is that moment. He went into there way too hot. Luckily, it was just sandbanks.
Well, it was a little bit like we've seen this a little bit, haven't we, over the weekend? People using the sandbanks as you would a snowbank in Sweden, and it just sort of knocked him back on his way. So great that he's back out there for the last day of the season. And yeah, as I mentioned, it did be difficult first on the road, but I wonder if he can get in the mix for this chase for points so crucial for Evans, Ogier and Rovanpera. Greg Munster next in. See how points feeling this final run this year.
A lot of cleaning in there, PK.
Oh, that was a small little sketchy moment that we watched you have up there, but it's final day. Are you out there enjoying a bit of rallying?
Yeah, and we couldn't have a rock there which took the wheel out, so unfortunately. But anyhow, yeah, it's super loose and super slippery, so.
A little bit of sarcasm there.
He's never sarcastic.
At least, listen, those at the end of the stage, nobody else gives, and I will miss this next year. I know some people won't. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but I will miss.
I'm not sure I will at the end of stages, I have to say.
I will miss, because you never know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, that's true.
And for the fans, who are ultimately the most important aspect of this sport, the fans at home, you know, they'll miss that as well, I'm sure.
I mean, there's no malice in it. He's just having a bit of fun. He's actually quite a funny guy. He does like giving us a hard time, and it's all part of the game. So the suspension trouble there, working really hard under Nasser when he gets these rutted sections. I think you're right. It's that last couple of kilometres, the bit that was used on Wednesday in Shakedown. At least they'll know it fairly well in terms of pace notes. That's obviously another factor this weekend. Evans and Scotty, aren't they so good at giving detailed notes? Will that be an advantage for them? Evans, the current championship leader, just 3 points in it. Remember, coming into this rally is the next driver in the stage.
I'm surprised Nasser's losing as much time as he is through here. I wonder if there's something else going on, because this is an awful lot of time to drop. 28.7 seconds. It's over 2 kilometres. He's losing over 2 seconds a kilometre.
Yeah, we saw him
relative to Tanak.
We saw him have power steering failure, didn't we, at the end of yesterday? I don't know how physically he's feeling. This weekend. So I don't know, he maybe just take it easy, but you're right, it does seem like a lot of time to be losing. Certainly been better than that so far this weekend. The reason we are running on Saturday to finish the rally, if I saw on social media a couple of people asking the question, is the working week here in Saudi Arabia actually starts on Sunday. So technically Friday and Saturday is their weekend in this part of the world, just to clear that one up. 5 seconds.
Let's see what Nasser's got to say, because he hasn't been dropping.
No.
You know, 2 seconds a kilometre.
He was
so far this weekend.
When he was first on the road yesterday, he was actually pretty quick in certainly some of the sandy stages. Here we go then. Is it to be Evans' day? We've never had a Welsh world champion. We haven't had a British world champion for 24 years. Let's see how it evolves. Let's hear from Nasser, see what's going on there.
Morning, Nasser. Not quite on the pace of Tanak out there. Are you a bit cautious today?
Yeah, because Candido, he have a really pain in the back, and I need to take care about him. But okay, we did also 2 mistakes. Yes, but it's very slippery, and yeah, we need to make our day good today.
And how are you feeling after not having the power steering yesterday?
Oh, it's like, okay, still strong, huh?
Massive rock on the line there that Ogier and Evans had to avoid. Listen, PK, we've been talking about this all morning. Ogier and Evans versus Sebastian Ogier. It is at the very core. Of course, other people come into it, don't they? What's Rovanpera comes into play if he can get himself back ahead of Sebastian Ogier. But, I'm sorry, vice versa. But if Ogier can get back ahead of Rovanpera, but ultimately it's whether Ogier and Evans can beat Sebastian Ogier. Can Sebastian Ogier beat Ogier and Evans? And interestingly, everybody today has gone for 2 spare tyres. Everybody, and based on what we've seen so far, you'd go, that's the right way to be. There are 2 blokes, though, who haven't. 2 fellas who haven't. Sebastian Ogier and Ogier and Evans. They've both gone to their engineers and gone, can you make it faster, please? I need to make it faster. And engineers have gone, we can take out a spare. And they've only got 1 spare tyre each on a rally that has been ridden with punctures. Wow. They've only taken 1 spare, and they've got to get through all 3 stages.
Yes, and all soft compound tyres for all as well. That is fascinating, you're right. Obviously less, I don't think they would have done yesterday, but I mean, it's just such fine margins, isn't it? I mean, as things stand, that 1-point gap between Evans and Ogier. I mean, were it to stay the same as Josh McErlean completes 4.2 down on, that's not a bad effort actually, just 4.2 down on Tanak. Yeah, were it to stay the same, if Evans beats Ogier in the power stage and beats him in the Super Sunday, I mean, that would do it, but there's a lot of ifs and buts. Let's see Sami Pajari, Marcus Salminen next in. The crew probably thinking what could have been, right in the fight for a first victory as well, till they had to get out the car and change the wheel. Let's hear from Josh, see how the Irishman's feeling this morning.
Morning, Josh. Just 4.2 off the pace of this opening stage. Some good Tanak lines to follow in there.
Yeah, it's nice to see Oit in his back last day of the WRC. I'm sure we'll see him back, but yeah, it's been an okay stage. Sometimes it's been a bit messy, but we'll take that.
What do you reckon? I'm going to ask your opinion. We've got our 2 championship contenders going out there with just a 1 spare tyre. Is that a bit of a gamble, would you say?
They have to go flat out, so it is what it is.
Correct. Fastest man wins. Yeah. Give me the fastest car you possibly can, and I'll go and drive it as fast as I possibly can. And that's what we wanted, PK.
Yeah, there we go then. There's a confirmation, top left of your screen. As I mentioned, Ogier currently on 277 points. So remember, he's just 2 tenths behind Rovanpera. That's the fight for 5th. Just 1 point the gap now. Come this final day of the season. As you say, Jenny, it is an absolute shootout. 10 points.
Any event and go flat out. This is the one. Everything he's worked for all year relies on the next 3 stages, and I would agree with you, PK, that this weekend so far there has been an element of safety to the way he's approached his driving. I don't think we've seen Ogier and Evans going flat out today. He's got to wring the neck off of that thing, and he's got to turn up and get the job done. And exactly the same approach applies to Sebastian Ogier.
Yeah, he is going to be next in the stage behind Sami Pajari. How much will that 1 extra row position make a difference? Remains to be seen, but it will help a little bit. But crucially, he's got Rovanpera now behind him. That was a key move, wasn't it? Calais getting past Seb on the last stage of yesterday by just 2 tenths of a second.
But remember, PK, Ogier and Evans, he's over 2 minutes behind Sami Pajari, so he can't leapfrog somebody for points. Ogier is just 2 tenths behind Rovanpera.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he can get ahead of Calais, then straight away he's got more points to play with in the overall standings.
Yeah, 2-point swing. One point becomes 3 points, and then it makes the challenge today that much easier. Greg Munster then completes 11.8 seconds off the Tanak benchmark, and yeah, well beaten by Josh McErlean in their little inter-team battle. Of course, we are also the other subplot, or not even subplot, but a fascinating watch today is what can Martin Cess do today, and what can this pairing do? Seb Ogier, Vincent Londe, Seb hunting that 9th world title. At the moment, it's in his hands, but there is still a lot of work to do, because look at the focus here of the Welshman. Let's get a word with Greg, and we'll get back to this championship fight shortly.
Morning, Greg. It must be hard to believe that it's the final day of this year's season. Are you taking extra pleasure in this car out there today?
Yeah, exactly. Although we just want to have fun, enjoy the driving, and yeah, already some rocks pulled out, so you need to be careful, but yeah, enjoying.
Some rocks being pulled out. Let's just hope our championship front runners just can get through this. Splits then looking very, very strong for Elvin Evans, certainly compared to Tanak. That to be expected maybe with the row position. 8.7 seconds up, but the first split for Seb Ogier also coming in, and there's hardly anything between our two championship front runners. Just 4/10 in it at the second split at 5 kilometres. It's going to be that close, Jenny. Such fine margins. How much is that row position going to make a difference, or extra row position with Sammy in between them?
It's gonna clean more, but as we've just heard Gregoire Munster say, with more cars passing through, there's more rocks getting pulled out. So yes, Seb's got a potential advantage with the road being cleaner. He'll have more grip to play with, but there'll be more rocks out there, so it's more dangerous. The danger comes up. I've got goosebumps, PK. This is incredible. Elvin Evans has stepped up the pace, no question. He's blowing everybody else out of the water. Yesterday and on the first day, Sam Pajari was constantly quicker than Elvin. Elvin right now is blowing Sammy out of the water, and there's only 4/10 of a second between Evans and Ogier at 5 kilometres.
But look at the next one, now at 7.3 kilometres.
It's 6/10 of a second. It's nothing, PK. We just saw what happened to Ogier Tanak. Elvin's through.
Wow, good run from the Welshman to start the day. 8.9 seconds quicker than Tanak. He'll be looking at the timing screens ever so shortly once he gets out into the road section, just to get confirmation, or the team will obviously confirm on the radio what's going on, but it's mighty close, as you said.
Elvin has definitely stepped up the pace. That's the fastest we've seen Elvin running all weekend. I was really worried we were going to see Elvin do what he was doing yesterday. Today, he stepped up the pace.
And you know what, Chetty? This man has got a huge part to play, maybe not for his own championship hopes, they seem to be drifting away, but he can do a massive favour to the Welshman if he can stay ahead. Let's hear from Elvin. Good start to the final day of the season.
Elvin, that seemed to be a good dress rehearsal for the power stage. It's incredible that this title will come down to exactly that power stage later on. Are you feeling confident?
Not really, but we're going to do what we can anyway, you know.
Why not?
I don't know, we've not really had the speed all weekend, but let's see, maybe today can be different.
Today can be different. Today, of course it can. You've got to be positive. This is the first time he's been so close to Sebastian Ogier all weekend.
I just think it's a mental thing as much as anything, isn't it? I mean, how often has he been in this situation? 4 times he's been the runner-up in the championship. Meanwhile, yes, Sammy Pajari, he's not getting anywhere near Elvin Evans. I mean, the hopes of a win have long gone, so it's just about, I guess, bringing the car home. He doesn't want to get involved really in the scrap for points on the final day, affecting all his teammates. He's 6.4 down. Rovanpera, though, is going quicker than Ogier further back in the stage. That is key for Elvin Evans in terms of that overall fight, as you mentioned, Shani. But yes, let's see what happens now for the last half of the stage.
Elvin definitely needs Calais to outpace Sebastian Ogier, doesn't he?
Through the day, yeah. Absolutely. And of course, it means he's going to outscore both of them. I mean, at the moment, it's just 1 point swings in it, isn't it? There's confirmation. 7.9 down Pajari compared to Evans. Next split's coming through now on Ogier. It's still close, but it's still marginally in his favour by 7/10 of a second now for the Frenchman. Nothing in it. There's absolutely no margin for error now.
Brilliant to see that Elvin has properly stepped up the pace. And that's proof to us. There was nothing to worry about over the first couple of days. The pace was there. He was just driving smart. Yeah. But he knows today now he's got to light the fuse.
Let's see then. Meanwhile, Sami Pajari has had a terrific weekend, it's got to be said. Right up there fighting for a first victory. Remember this on the back of a first podium finish a few weeks ago in Japan. Future's bright for this young man as well. What a fight we're going to have in our hand over the next few years with the likes of Sami and Oliver Solberg as well, of course, joining the team next year, or stepping up to the full work squad. Obviously claimed that first win in Estonia, did Oliver. Let's just get Pajari over the line and we can get back to the key battle.
Got to say, really disappointing for Sami at one point. Looking, I mean, he's been leading this rally. He was right in the fight, but again, just fell foul to punctures, and Sami deserved a better result than he did. And I think you're right, PK. Oh, I'll come back to that in a minute. I think you're right, PK, that Sami's just staying out of the Super Sunday standings. The reason we just reacted like that, at 12.5 kilometres, Ogier and Evans was at 8 minutes 16.4. At the same point in the stage, Sébastien Ogier, 8 minutes 16.4. Nothing to choose between them. It'll come up on your screen in a minute. But right now, they're completely level pegging.
Let's hear from Sami.
Morning, Sami. I know it must be quite tough out there today after what happened yesterday, and it's an interesting position that you're in between the two title contenders. Tell us about your approach today.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. Just next to us, we are not really involved. But, yeah, obviously it's very different today than it was the days before. But okay, we just try to keep the rhythm and take all the learning we can from this point. But there is not so much else to do for us.
Yeah, that's great to hear from Sami, but meanwhile all eyes are absolutely glued on their timing screen at the 14.8 kilometre split. A reminder, there's just 1 point in it between them coming into this stage. That's the as it stands table, remember, with the positions, overall positions counting. We'll update that with a Super Sunday after this stage, of course. Here we go. Will he be up? Will he be down? He's now up.
4 tenths down. Remember, it's only 4 tenths, and PK, we've got a long, long way to go on one set of tyres, right? And remember, Seb and Elvin have only got one spare, so they also have to think about tyre management. They can't go out and muller a set of tyres now and on the next stage and come into the Wolf Power stage with no rubber underneath them, because then they won't have any grip at all to play with, and all the hard work that will be undone straight away.
And we know how good this man is at conserving tyres as well, don't we? This really is like 3 Wolf Power stages in one day. It is going to be mighty close. It started off advantage Ogier. It's looking like it's going to be advantage Evans at the end of this one. There's only 1 point between them, remember. Meanwhile, Rovanpera is going even quicker again. So Calais massively playing his part in the outcome of this championship as things stand. But what a day we have on our hands, the final day of the season. And that just underlines, doesn't it, Chetty? What a good run that was from Elvin. He didn't sound too confident in the interview, but goodness me, that was a good run. Here we go. Will it stay green? Oh, he's beaten! My goodness.
A tenth of a second.
Wow. Well, there's nothing in it, and that is how tight the margins are. But that just gives hope for Elvin, doesn't it? Remember, we've got a 33-kilometre stage coming up next.
That's got to light the fire inside Elvin Evans. For the first time this weekend, he's taken it to Sébastien Ogier. The pace is there. Remember, we'll come back to Thierry Neuville in a moment. Remember, in Japan, Elvin Evans lost the Wolf Power stage to Ogier by 900ths of a second. There's a tenth in it now on this stage. Elvin has got to have an answer for Sébastien Ogier. It's payback time. Let's hear from Seb. A good run from him.
Morning, Seb. This is all incredibly thrilling to watch. It could potentially come down to this stage later on. You're a tenth of a second quicker than Elvin in there.
Yeah, that's nice then, for sure. But okay, yeah, clean stage for us. Obviously, probably, if we stay out of trouble, it can be close.
What are you thinking out there today? Elvin seemed a little bit deflated when he got here to the stop line. Are you feeling quite confident?
I don't understand.
Are you feeling quite confident out there with the speed and everything?
No, I mean, as confident as you can be with this lottery rally, but yeah, we will try our best.
Just the one spare, a bit of a gamble.
It's not a gamble.
Yeah, he's already confirmed he's not a gambling man. He keeps talking about this rally being a bit of a lottery, but it's a fascinating one.
It's not a gamble. He's right. It doesn't matter if you feel it. To these guys, if you finish second or third or fourth in the championship, it's the same thing. Winning it, it's all about performance. They needed to be given the fastest car possible. And I can tell you something else, Seb, PK. If Sebastian Ogier had a spare tyre in the boot of that car right now, he would be slower than Ogier and Evans. The fact that pair of them have both gone out on level pegging is so important.
1/10 of a second, and let's just hope there's not too much cleaning in that long stage to come as well. But that's an extra car between them with Sammy Pai. But meanwhile, as I mentioned, Rovanpera, it's very much a long shot. It's not going to happen today in terms of the championship for him, unless there's a disaster for both Evans and Ogier. But he is playing a massive part in terms of staying ahead of Seb in the overall standings, and of course he'll top the timesheets in terms of the Super Sunday standings. But there's just 1 point incrementally that goes down with each position. So at the moment it's just a 1 point swing in the way of Ogier, but that could all change. But crucial that Rovanpera is staying ahead, and not only staying ahead, Chetty, this is a remarkable run. 3.6 seconds up on Seb. It's 14.8 kilometres.
Yeah,
he might be on Evans at that point because he was fastest at that split.
He's still fighting for a championship, and and like you said, he's got his part to play. And his job today is to just go as fast as he possibly can. That's what he's doing. And if he runs into a problem, then that's in the lap of the gods. Rovanpera's job for his own title chances are to go flat out, and he goes comfortably quicker. What a drive from Calais.
Yeah, that really was impressive, because you just know Evans and Ogier were absolutely on it. 1/10 of a second between them. And then Calais comes through and he does almost 5 seconds on them. That's an incredible run. Right, we also have a rally win to be fought over this weekend. Let's not forget Martin Sest going on his way. Let's hear from Calais. Great run from the Finn.
Well, we all know what Elvin and Seb are fighting for. It could come down to the power stage. You've just gone 4.7 seconds quicker than Seb in there. That must have been a good run.
Yeah, quite okay. Obviously, tricky stages today also. The long one is going to be tough for tires, so this one is just really technical and quite nasty jumps. I'm not so happy to push in the jumps and dips because it's quite rough, but yeah, we try our best today and see what we get.
How many times have we heard that from Calais? He didn't want to push too much, and he's beaten the two championship front runners by almost 5 seconds. Anyway, Tanak after the chaos of yesterday afternoon, suddenly on for a podium finish, Chetty. I mean, he's kept himself out of mischief. He had that one moment, didn't he, when he sort of slid a bit of an overshoot, lucky to get out of the sand. But he impressed you this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've described what Takamoto and Aaron have done this weekend perfectly. They've kept themselves out of mischief, kept themselves out of trouble. It hasn't been without its problems, for sure. As you said, they were lucky when they outbraked themselves and headed into the rocks that they didn't pick up any damage. But the trick to this event has been keeping yourself out of trouble, being there or thereabouts. That's what Tak has done, capitalising on the problems of those people ahead of him, and they find themselves in a fairly sturdy third place at the moment. It would be great for Taka and Aaron if they can end the year with a podium finish. Of course, we're going to see them returning next year, still hunting that first rally victory. And I honestly, to be honest, I thought it was going to come this year, because the pace is definitely there in Taka. Yeah, perhaps he hasn't got the consistency of some of his teammates, but the pace is absolutely there, and he'll have another crack at it next year. That being said, we're still not done here. Anything can happen, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some really strong pace coming through from Thierry Neuville, who's desperate also to take that last win of the season. Remember, defending champion still, isn't he, Thierry? He would be the first driver since Richard Burns back in 2001 to not win a rally on the title defence year, but let's see, long way to go. Yeah, Takakatsu today, himself out of mischief. He's going to have Adrian Formeau not too far behind once we get that time penalty registered. 6.5 seconds off the Rovanpera pace, but that's a pretty good effort. Still 24 seconds up on Rovanpera in the overall standings, that is. Now, Adrian Formeau, Alex Correa should have been out there leading the way this morning. We'll sort of get into that in a bit of detail shortly, but it's great to see them back out there. Now to hunt down Taka's third place at least. Let's hear from the Japanese driver now.
Morning, Taka. 6.5 seconds down on Kala. You're in a great position going into today. What is the approach?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it didn't feel so good. Just a hectic few braces, but try to avoid over the lock. So yeah, maybe it could be better, of course, but I don't know what time like Adrian going to do. So let's see.
Yeah, so Thierry Neuville, remember, starting this stage now after the time penalty for Formeau, just 3.4 seconds behind this pairing. Martin Sess, I mean, he's been the surprise package, I think it's fair to say, Jenny. But the key question is, on the pace you've seen from the Latvians so far this weekend in the M Sport Puma, can he hold off Thierry Neuville today?
Yeah, I think he can, but he's going to have to give it absolutely everything, and I think Thierry Neuville has probably been driving with a little bit of caution throughout the weekend. Thierry now, again, he's not really fussed if he finishes second or third, he wants a win. Yeah. But as does Martin Sess. I think Martins has done a brilliant job, and look, if Martins can win, that will just be a fairy tale ending for what has been an up and down season for M Sport, for people who work so hard to turn up and be here and do what they do. And I think already actually Martins has given them just reward. But if it's not a win and it's a podium, it's still a spectacular result. I think he's going to have to work real hard.
He's won more stages than anyone up there, if I remember correctly, up to 5, I think. But this is looking like a bit of a throwing down the gauntlet moment to the Latvians from Neuville in here.
I'm looking at the splits, and it's already theoretically at 10.8 kilometres into the stage. Martins is 3.6 down on Neuville, so already theoretically Neuville leading this rally by 0.2 of a second on the road.
Let's say long way to go though. That's for all these battles, that 33-kilometre stage to come is so key now, isn't it? He's 0.8 up as well on Rovanpera, and we thought that time was pretty epic. Probably still a little bit of cleaning going on. He's dropped some time there though towards the end. Bit of a 2.5 swing almost. Remains Rovanpera then. Of course, Neuville's another one. You think about the Super Sunday and Wolf Power stage. He's another one that's going to be a fly in the ointment, isn't it, for the championship front runners?
100%.
And he won't mind that one bit, will he? Still playing his part in the championship fight, even if he's not involved. One man who's already won a championship this year, of course. The pairing is Oliver Solberg, Elliot Edmondson, our WRC 2 champions. Excited to see them in the Rally 1 Toyota next year. Let's hear from Thierry then. Bullish start to the final day.
Thierry, well, there's no doubt that you're out there pushing today. It was looking like a quickest time, but you finished 0.6 slower. However, Martins 5.2 down on the last split.
Yeah, I tried, but my